The story is set in a town where, 35 years ago, 3 girls were murdered. Today, on Halloween, a famous news reporter is telling everyone their story. The 3 girls who were murdered were all 16 years old, and each was killed by being stabbed with a gold cross. The killer committed these murders while wearing a mask, which is why he was never caught. Because he killed 16-year-old girls, he became infamous as the Sweet 16 Killer. People started to fear him so much that they even began dressing up as him for Halloween. The scene now shifts to a girl named Jamie, who has a friend named Amelia. Both of them want to go to a concert, but their parents are not allowing them to go. Even though they know that Jamie knows self-defense and is a karate champion, their parents are scared due to an old fear deeply rooted in their hearts. It turns out that the girls who were murdered were childhood friends of Amelia and Jamie's parents. Finally, Jamie's dad decides to put an end to the conflict by resolving to personally take Jamie and Amelia to the concert. Back at home, Jamie's mom, Pam, was alone. Initially, some children came to the house for Halloween gifts, but then a man wearing the Sweet 16 Killer mask showed up. He didn't want gifts or candy, he wanted Jamie's mom's life. Quickly, Pam locked the door and called the police. Meanwhile, the killer managed to unlock the door and enter the house. Pam retrieved a gun from a drawer to defend herself, but the killer grabbed the gun and began attacking her. Pam, who was also a karate champion, defended herself well. She managed to throw the killer aside with a strong push and quickly went to the kitchen to grab a knife. She warned the killer to leave, saying the police were on their way. Hearing this, the killer hesitated and appeared to leave. Pam thought he was gone, but suddenly, he attacked her from behind, stabbing her multiple times and killing her. The killer escapes, and the police arrive at the scene. News reporter Chris informs everyone that Pam was stabbed 16 times, indicating that the Sweet 16 Killer has returned. Jamie was deeply saddened by her mom's murder. The next day at school, officers call Jamie in for the investigation, where they tell her that Pam had been in contact with Chris for several days. Jamie then goes to meet Chris and asks why he had been messaging her mom so much. Chris explains that the killer had sent Pam a note a few days ago that said, "You are next." To catch the serial killer, they were working together. Jamie discusses this with her friend Amelia. Amelia, for her science fair project, had used her mom's idea to build a time machine. Jamie notices that Amelia had set the time machine to the date 35 years ago when their mom's friends were murdered by the Sweet 16 Killer. Amelia tells Jamie that if they go back in time and stop the murders from happening, Jamie's mom would still be alive today. However, the problem is that the time machine isn't working. That night, Amelia and Jamie are near the time machine, talking, when suddenly the Sweet 16 Killer attacks Jamie. To protect herself, Jamie hides inside the time machine. The killer tries to stab Jamie, and accidentally, his knife activates the time machine. In an instant, Jamie is transported to the exact date when the Sweet 16 Killer committed his first murder. Upon arriving, Jamie finds that the time machine is now broken. She hides the machine and then goes to her parents' college. At the school, she meets the same 3 girls who were murdered. One of these girls throws many balls at Jamie, and Jamie realizes that this bold girl is her mom, Pam, during her school days. Pam and her group were very popular at the school. After all this, Jamie goes to Amelia's mom and tells her that she has come from the future. She explains that Amelia used her mom's diary to build a time machine, which brought Jamie to the past. Amelia's mom finds it hard to believe because she has been researching the time machine and has never shared her research or diary with anyone. Jamie tells her that tonight, 3 girls from her group will be murdered, and many years later, the same killer will also kill Jamie's mom. Jamie explains that she is here to fix everything. Jamie takes Amelia's mom to the time machine and explains that it initially wasn't working. When the killer tried to stab her, his knife accidentally activated the machine. Amelia's mom realizes that the only thing missing was a conductor, which the knife provided, and that's why the machine worked. Amelia's mom starts repairing the broken time machine because it's the only way Jamie can return to her time. In Jamie's time, the future, It is shown that many people, including her dad, are worried about her disappearance. The police officers are also trying to find her. Amelia tells the officers that Jamie has gone to the past using the time machine she created, but only the news reporter Chris believes her. In the past, Amelia's mom and Jamie arrive at the party where the first murder will happen. Jamie warns Pam, her mom and her group that they are in danger, but they don't take her seriously and make fun of her, eventually throwing her out. Despite this, Jamie doesn't give up and keeps an eye on them at the party. We see one of Pam's friends alone in her bedroom when she suddenly sees someone in a Sweet 16 killer mask. Mistaking him for a friend, she lets her guard down. The killer approaches her and brutally stabs her 16 times, killing her. Hearing her screams, Jamie and Pam rush to her room and find her dead, leaving Pam extremely distressed. Jamie takes Pam outside to calm her down. Pam asks Jamie how she knew someone in their group was in danger. Jamie, not revealing the truth, says she has visions of the future, which is how she knew. In the future, Chris visits Amelia and tells her that he always remembered the first girl's murder happening in the garage, not the bedroom. But now, photos from the past show the murder occurred in the bedroom. Amelia explains that since Jamie went from the future to the past, it's possible the past has changed. Amelia then notices Jamie in the past photos and soon receives a message from Jamie, which says that the time machine was missing a conductor. This prompts Amelia to start working on rebuilding the time machine. In the past, Jamie was with her mom's group, who are all sad about their friend's murder. Jamie suggests that they throw a party somewhere far away to lift their spirits. Jamie sits next to a boy whose handwriting looks exactly like the killer's handwriting her mom described. The next day, when they arrive at the house for the party, Jamie realizes it was the same house where the second murder occurred. The group has invited their other friends as well. While everyone is enjoying the swimming pool, Jamie was worried because she hasn't found any clues about the killer. The girl who is supposed to be murdered tonight is in her room when Pam's other friend is lying there. The killer comes to attack her, and she runs away, screaming. Everyone hears her screams and rushes to help, but before they can do anything, the killer stabs the girl 16 times, killing her. Jamie and her dad try to catch the killer, but he easily overpowers them and escapes. Meanwhile, Chris's dad reports the murder. Amelia's mom arrives and tells Jamie that she can't completely fix the time machine because it has many parts from the future. However, she has created a small but crucial part of the machine that needs a large power source to function. While they are talking, Jamie spots the truck of the boy whose handwriting resembled the killer's. She rushes to check the truck, but only finds toys inside, and the boy with the truck appears quite scared. As they are discussing, a man named Doug, who is a classmate of Pam, approaches them. He tells Pam that if she ever has any trouble, she should let him know because he is a karate champion and can solve anything easily. Jamie then goes back to Amelia's mom, who is still searching for a large power source for the time machine. Jamie notices a swing set nearby, which could serve as a perfect power source. They approach the swing operator and tell him that there is a malfunction in the swing, and they need to fix it. The operator agrees and steps aside. Amelia's mom starts connecting the time machine to the swing's power source. Meanwhile, Jamie meets with Pam's group and tells them that the girl who was murdered yesterday was supposed to be killed today according to the future timeline, and the killer was supposed to murder a different girl yesterday. Since the killer didn't manage to kill his intended target, he will definitely come back today to kill her. Jamie suggests that if everyone works together, they can save the girl's life and catch the killer. Everyone agrees to help her. In the future, Amelia has completed her time machine. She tells Chris that she needs a metal conductor to activate it and asks him to fetch one. Meanwhile, in the past, they have planned to catch the killer. Jamie sends the targeted girl to the haunted house. As expected, the killer arrives there. Before he can kill the girl, he notices Jamie, who had tried to catch him during the last murder attempt. The killer decides to eliminate Jamie first. As he advances to attack Jamie, she easily evades his attack because she knows self-defense. Before the killer can overpower her, Jamie's dad and the others arrive. Despite the killer's impressive fighting skills and his ability to hold everyone off simultaneously, The distraction allows one of the girls to sneak up behind him and stab him in the chest with a large stake, killing him. Finally, when they remove the killer's mask, they realize that he is the same guy named Doug who had previously talked to Jamie and told her that he was a karate champion. Now the question arises, why was he targeting his classmates? They find a pendant around Doug's neck, inside which there was a picture of a girl. Jamie's mom reveals that this girl was Doug's friend, who was quite overweight and looked odd, so they used to bully her. One day, the three friends called her out for a night out, but she couldn't tolerate their behavior, got angry, drank a lot, and drove away, resulting in an accident in which she died. Doug believed that the three girls were responsible for his friend's death, so he wanted to kill them. Jamie tells them that they are very bad people and can do such horrible things. She didn't believe Pam, who wasn't even at the party that day. Jamie leaves without listening to anything else, feeling sorry that Pam, a bad girl, is her mom. Meanwhile, as they talk, a man in the disguise of the Sweet 16 girl's father comes and kills the third girl from behind, whose life Jamie had saved. Seeing this, everyone gets scared, and Jamie reveals that they have already killed the real killer. She thinks that this killer came from the future using Amelia's time machine. The scene shows that Amelia's murder had already happened in the future. In the past, this killer from the future had also killed the past-time reporter, Chris's dad. Amidst all this chaos, Amelia's mom activates the time machine and tells Jamie to go back to her time. Jamie enters the time machine, and the killer also enters to kill her. He tries to attack Jamie, but before he could, Pam arrives and grabs the killer by the throat. In one swift move, the killer frees himself from Pam's grip. Now, both Pam and Jamie are trying to fight the killer, but he proves to be stronger than both of them. The swing in which they had installed the time machine starts spinning rapidly due to the activation of the time machine. Because of this, everyone starts moving backward, and they are unable to hold on. However, the killer was somehow moving slowly with the surface. He manages to reach Pam before she could stop him. Just before he stops Pam, the door of the swing opens, causing Pam to fall out. Because of the door opening, the killer's mask also falls off, revealing his face. We see that it's not someone else but the future reporter Chris, who had used Amelia's time machine in the future and had come here. He had also killed Jamie's mom to continue the story of Sweet 16. People were slowly forgetting this story amidst all this chaos, but Chris was earning money by broadcasting this story every time. Jamie asks why he killed his dad, and Chris tells her that he never cared for him, so he killed him. Before Jamie is killed inside the time machine, Jamie kills Chris using a nail gun. It is shown that finally Jamie has reached her home in her time. Upon arriving home, she sees that her mom and dad are safe and sound. In fact, her mom had saved her past by changing it. Here, Amelia's mom meets Jamie and takes her aside, telling her that she was very nervous today. She knew that the time machine would bring her here today, and she was nervous because if the killer also came out of the time machine, what would happen? That's why she had hidden a gun near her. Now, she gives Jamie a book in which she has written everything that changed in her past due to the events in the past or the future. There is also a brother of Jamie in this time, whose name her parents had kept as Jimmy. In fact, Jamie's name had now changed, and while telling all this, the movie ends here. I hope you have liked this movie recap. Please like, share and subscribe for more real recaps.